done by 9:30 because it is on.
You are on the air.
We're on the air. This is my radio voice. Um, this is Mariangela, right?
Yes.
Mercurio,
Yes.
okay? And she is a director. She is an actress too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she is also, oh no, I didn't reset the clock. Uh-oh. Okie dokie. Half an hour.
You are on the air.
For a half an hour? That's an hour, isn't it?
What do you want, a half hour?
Half hour, yeah.
Oh, you must have made it 30 seconds.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay. So every America, Twitch, YouTube, everybody saw my
It's still going.
Okay, it's still going. Okay. Yeah, it says on the air. So okay, sorry America. But she is also the founder, the co-founder of a production company. Right?
Yes.
So we'll be talking about all that stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about though is May 19th, 20th, and 21st, 7:30, 7:30, 2 o'clock at Western New York ART's theater space on Elmwood Avenue. Buffalo Writers Theater has a short play showcase called Get in the Car, or Get in the Car, or it's all different things. And you're directing two of the pieces. So I wanted to start there and have you talk about the two pieces that you're directing. There are 10 pieces. I'm the producer. I wrote one of the plays, and I'm directing 3 of them. And Mariangela is directing 2 of them. And her significant other is in 2 of them, right? No, 1 of them.
I believe he's in one.
He's
yeah.
in 1. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm directing Mike Finelli's play Philosophers at War, which is based in 1943 World War II era. Very historical fiction, I should say. And the other show I'm directing is called It Ain't Over Till the Pink Lady Sings by Alison Fradkin. And it's about 3 young girls discovering what love is in a way, trying to navigate the transition between being friends to being in a relationship, as well as putting on the musical Grease. And this is all happening during their rehearsal process.
Cool. And why don't we talk about the Finelli piece first? Mike Finelli is the co-producer of the Get in the Car showcase, but more importantly, he is the founder of Buffalo Writers Theater, and he's been doing it for a number of years. And for a number of years, it was at Rust Belt Books, but this year, as I said, it's at Western New York ART. Mm-hmm. So who's the cast for that one? For Philosophers at War?
Yes, for Philosophers, I have Stacy Kowal, Jason, oh my goodness.
Gonzer, Jason Gonzer.
And Christopher Standard. Those are my 3 cast people. Yeah, they're great. Absolutely wonderful, talented people. Yeah, it's been pretty easy process, rehearsal wise. So we really haven't had too many bumps. There was a lot of extra research that needed to go into that play compared to my other play that I'm doing.
So what kind of research?
Just looking up stuff for World War II, when I was looking up stuff for the costumes, and ironically, I spent probably too much time looking up what kind of cup that I would need. Yeah. And
it's like a tin cup, right? It's like a tin cup.
Yeah, he has a teacup, but they're on a plane. So what kind of cup would they use in 1943 on a plane? And unfortunately, styrofoam cups weren't made until 1944, so...
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of research just on like very random specific things. So the one character, Charter, who is a philosopher, he is a real person, which was really interesting to find out. So I learned a little bit about what he did in real life, what his kind of mindset was. So we talked about that in the rehearsal process. The other characters are made up, which was also interesting to learn. However, there was someone named Martin Schiller who is in the play as well, but he, instead of being a French person, in real life, he's actually a Jewish person who was actually only 10 years old during 1943. So that was really interesting to kind of learn about who these people could have been or were during this
So
time.
you were your own dramaturg,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
the resolution. So is that like a tease, and people have to come to the show to see what kind of cup was used,
Yeah.
or can you? Oh, okay, we're not telling you what
Let's
kind of.
see what kind of cup we have.
We're
Who
not
knows?
telling you. And Chris Standard is in one of my plays. He's in Bar None, and he plays the AA sponsor for the character Dory in my play, who's played by Stephanie Bax. So yeah, it's an ensemble kind of thing because Jason Gonzer is also in Gotcha, which is a Jennifer Trumbull play, and he's also in my play. Yeah, like every what play? What's the other play? Oh, it's my play. It's my play, which is the Get in the Car play for the Get in the Car play showcase, as not to be mistaken with Neil Radis's piece, which is Get in the Car, which is a one-woman play, which is it's a phenomenal piece, you know. So how's Christopher doing with the French accent? Because
Pretty good.
he talked about it at rehearsal. He said, "Oh, you know, I got to work on that." And because he's been,
Um,
are you familiar with his work? Because he's been with Alleyway for years and years and years and years and years, and
yeah,
doing
I've
professional work.
I've heard about some of the other things he's been in. I haven't had the opportunity to see him perform besides like obviously with what we've been doing.
Hmm.
But he's been doing really well with the French accent, in my opinion. Yeah, he's great to work with. He's very, yeah, he's very nice guy.
And do you have a background with Aurora players? No,
No, I
no.
don't.
Okay, because when I was interviewing, when I was just interviewing a Brooke, she has a background with Aurora players, which was kind of interesting to me because I don't know, and I don't yeah, I don't know. Uh, but Jason is Aurora players, and Aurora players is a phenomenal group to work with. They're probably the most professional amateur theater there is because their costume, just for future reference, their costume room is quite extensive. They rent out pieces, right? They build
Mhm.
sets. They have all these props. They have a great. Have you been to the Roycroft Pavilion?
No,
No.
I don't think I have.
See, you got to go out there. You got to go out there and see the Roycroft Pavilion. But so your other play though is by Allison Fradkin, and it ain't over until the Pink Lady sings, right?
Yes.
So tell us more about that. So you were kind of saying, you know, spell it out for people. Tell everybody what it's about.
So it's just a really, really funny, cute piece. It's very lighthearted. Yeah, it's very, very sweet. It's about this one girl who has recently figured out that she likes women.
Hmm.
And she has been in love with her best friend for years and years and years, and she doesn't know what to do about it. She doesn't know how to tell her. And she has this other friend, Francine, who is very bold, very think of your like typical high school theater kid who's like way into drama, way over the top, that kind of person. And Francine kind of helps push her into trying to talk about her feelings to her friend, and it's revealed eventually that something happens. I don't know if I should say like how much
No,
I
no,
should
no.
give
You don't
away.
have. You can do.
Yeah.
The choices are you say spoiler alert and you tell us, or you say
Yeah.
something happens and you had to come and find out. Whatever you want to do.
Right. So they all get together and they just kind of figure it out. I'm not going to say too much more just because don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
Because it is really cute.
yeah.
And
But
the cast,
the one girl has more experience
yes,
and she in terms of romance. Just in
yes,
terms of romance, in terms of telling somebody you like them and whatever, and a first kiss or whatever, and she's trying to suggest to these two, hey, hello, smell the
yeah,
coffee in
yes.
Brazil, So
And she does it in a very funny way.
yeah. Well, there's a lot. There's also a lot of theater references in there, and you have to stay awake when you're watching the play, because they come like this, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a reference to this musical. That's a reference to this musical. That's a reference to this play, and oh yeah. So it's a very interesting piece by Alison Fradkin, who, yeah, her connection to because Buffalo Writers Theater, just to get this on the table, Buffalo Writers Theater encourages 716 playwrights to submit, and we do an annual showcase, short play showcase. But with this short play showcase, we also did it as a reading at the public library of all 10 plays. And then, yeah, and we'll do it again next year. We did it as a judged thing, as a judged competition. In the past, we've invited people to submit work, and we've given them a theme. But this year, it was an open call for all different people. People submitted, and we had 3 playwrights who were the judges and did a rank ordering of their favorite play, their second favorite, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, tell me about the production company. And I'm gonna give you the because I'm a social studies teacher. That's what I do. I don't make a living doing this. Uh, very few people do. I guess more people do nowadays. But for social studies, what I teach students is the journalistic 5 W's and 1 H. So, who, what, where, when, why, and how. So the story in the production company, the who is you and who else?
Um, my significant other, Andrew Zuccari.
Oh, that's how you
Yeah.
pronounce it. I've always screwed it up. And what's the name?
I did too the first couple years I knew him.
And he didn't say anything?
No.
What's
Can
the
you
matter
believe
with
that?
him? He's my theater son, as I told you, but because he's been in a play of mine, and we've bonded, and then he was in another play of mine and another play of mine. So what's the name? What is the name of the theater production company?
It is called Mercury Studios. That's
Mm-hmm.
Mercurie. Mercury.
Ah, okay. And why spelt that way? Because of your last name.
Yes, mostly for my last name. But so Mercury, if you know anything about
Mercury Theater with Orson Welles? No?
well, no.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
but no. But if you know anything about like Roman mythology or anything,
Yeah.
Mercury is the
Messenger God.
yep, and the god of communications, of travelers, and kind of just like bringing people together. So my intention with Mercury Studios is to have a place where people can come together, communicate, and just kind of like take care of each other.
So is there a physical place where it is at this point, or what's happening with it?
Currently, we do not have a physical location. It is all mostly online. I had my first show, cabaret show last year. It's gotten kind of busy in my own personal life with other shows happening, so it has been moving a little bit slower than I would like it, but I can't say no to directing other pieces or other
Sure.
opportunities. But we have been keeping up with, we have a blog, it's called the Mercury Companion, which you can find right on the website. So I've been just blogging mostly, social media, and then hopefully when I get a little bit of a break, maybe after these shows, we can start really planning our next event.
So do you have anything planned, or in terms of the vision, when you and Andrew sat down and you talked about this vision and you decided you were going to do it, are you going to have calls for plays, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I would definitely like to do some straight plays. I would like to do either like a comedy night, things like that, more cabarets.
Hmm.
We have a couple of ideas that are in workshop right now. It's
Hmm.
just kind of the main problem is finding a space for rehearsing that's not too expensive. It takes a lot more money and a lot more time than previously anticipated, but like you can't know until you try it, you know?
Sure. Can I
So
can I recommend, because I'm on the board of directors for Boston Library. I don't recommend you travel all the way to Boston Library, but quite a few of the libraries have stages, like the old one on Porter Street has a
okay.
stage downstairs. It's not big, but you're looking for a rehearsal space. They really like people to request use of the space. Crane Library has a stage. Um, the old Fairfield Library, which is now I think a private library, but they have a stage downstairs, and so there's all different places that you
Mhm.
can get that have a stage that you can rehearse on prior to actually getting a space. And then off air, I'll talk to you about renting with Matt Lacusa or with Alleyway or whatever, because
Yeah.
once you're past that point and you're ready to actually use a stage
Right.
and start charging people admission. But that's exciting. So to me, that's bold. That's
Yeah.
no, not to you.
It's pretty, I
You're
guess.
young, you're foolish. Oh, we were just
Yeah.
talking, we were drinking. We talked about it. No,
Yeah.
how'd it come about?
It really started, so I kind of started thinking about it a few years back, but I
Hmm.
never really had the guts to do it.
Yeah.
And I was stage managing professionally. I didn't start directing professionally yet. I had done, I think, 2 shows in college at that point directing.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? I really want to do this because I kept working for, there were just so many things that it kept happening when I was stage managing that I'm like, oh, if someone did this or if we did it this way, it would make this whole thing run smoother. And I
Hmm.
was like, and I was talking about it with Andrew at one point, and like we weren't even a relationship yet at that point. And he was like, well, why don't you just do it? And I was like, maybe I will. And like we'll see what happens. And like he's been really great about just supporting me and just like
He's a
with
great guy.
advice.
He's a great guy.
He really is.
He's a gem.
Really.
He's a keeper. I'm just telling you. Put a
I
ring
think
on
so.
it. Is he in the background there?
No, he's not here.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard him.
But yeah, he was very, very supportive, and he said that if he had any ideas, he'd be more than happy to help.
Mm.
He was talking about an idea that he had for a play that he wanted to write, and I was like, if you write it for me, I'll be more than happy to produce it. Like, and he's like, okay. So then it kind of started from there, and then
Has he
we
written
just
it
talked
yet?
more.
Has he written it yet?
He's, I believe, like 3/4 of the way done with it. He
Mm.
might be a little farther. He keeps telling me he's almost done with it, so it's been a little bit of a waiting game, but I think he's almost done with it. It was a really cool idea. I don't know how much of it I should share.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
You don't have to share, but once you workshop, that's the
Mhm.
first thing. When you workshop it and you do a public reading, and
Mhm.
yeah, that'll get you. That'll get your name out there, the production company's name out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the Buffalo playwrights, though, they're a good group of people. They really are, and there's a ton of people. And if you put out a call for work and you give them a theme, they'll run with it. and then you could do a short play showcase. It's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
true.
is. You know, it's like a no-brainer. You know, because yeah, it's just easy to do. I say that knowing that it's not easy to do. You know, it takes coordination and things like that. Like we got you, we got Jane Cudmore, and we also got, drum roll please. Thank you, Neil Radis. Wow, he's a Buffalo legend, a Buffalo theater legend. He's a national, you know, theater figure, and he wrote a play, and he's directing 3 plays. So I'm going to take a moment out of talking to you just to list the plays. All right.
Yeah.
So we got. So you're directing. It ain't over until the pink. And this is going to be tough because you know I'm 60 years old now in memory. It ain't over till the Pink Ladies Sing. Philosophers at War. I'm doing Bar None, which is by Karen McDonald, and it's about a person in recovery who falls off the wagon, and it's a very good play. I'm also directing Gotcha by Jennifer Trumbull, which is a weird kind of thing with not a hitchhiker, but somebody who's stranded, a young woman who gets picked up by this couple, and they're a little off. And then I'm also directing my play, Get in the Car, the Get in the Car play for the Get in the Car play Buffalo Writers Theater Showcase. And it's a meta play. It's a play about a play, and guys talking about, it's funny. I think it's funny. And then Jane is directing, help me. Jane is directing, she's the Winnebago play, the Flying Winnebago play, and she's also directing, what's the other play she's directing? Jane. Okay, I know Neil's plays. And by going over Neil's play, which is the other 3 plays, he's directing Long Ride Home, which is controversial. It's about the top shooter in a sense, you know, a fictionalized version of the top shooter, and it's an important play. It really is. It talks about an important topic, and Neil's directing it. Neil's directing his own play, which is Get in the Car. Just Get in the Car, and it's about a mom, and in a difficult situation, and she's trying to get her son back in the car, and it's an emotionally riveting piece, and it really draws you in. And the final one he's directing is Pastoral Emergencies, which is about a priest who gets drunk every Easter Sunday and pretty much gets pulled over by the same police woman who happens to be a parishioner and a longtime parishioner, and they have a relationship, and it's also a beautiful play. You know, it has some jokes thrown in there, but it's a serious play. And now I'm stuck on that last play. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. I'm not being rude. I'm gonna look it up, and while I'm looking it up, you can tell people about your theater background. So where did you go to school for theater and all of those different types of things?
Yeah, sure. I went to Niagara University for my BFA in theater performance. I had actually started performing like really, really, really young. I was about 4 years old when I first started dancing. I was a student of Darlene Siglia's dance project all the way up to my senior year of high school. So I started out as a dancer before I did anything else. And then I kind of transitioned into theater throughout high school. And that's eventually why I decided to perform for theater in college.
And what was the college again? I'm sorry.
Niagara University.
Oh, they have a great theater program.
Yeah, they really do. That's
Like
also where
like it's Fredonia, Niagara. Those are like the 2 big ones. And Buffalo, UB is you know is developing its program.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so how many years ago was Niagara?
I graduated 2019.
2019. And what plays did you guys put on there when you were there?
I was in, let's see, I was in my freshman year, I was in 9 to 5, the musical. My sophomore year, I was in Stage Door, the play. Junior year, I was in She Loves Me. And then my senior year, I was in Pygmalion. I was in
Oh,
Pygmalion.
the Shaw piece, the actual
Yeah,
Shaw piece without. Okay,
yeah. I played,
not My Fair Lady, Pygmalion.
no,
Cool,
Pygmalion.
cool.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And then I had the opportunity, I was the dramaturge slash assistant director for it was called The Wolves. It was about a all-female soccer team.
Oh, okay.
And that was a really, really cool experience to be a part of because we trained like with the soccer team at NU when we did the show, which was a
Oh,
very cool experience. And then I ended up directing my first show my junior year of college. It was called You Have Arrived. And then my senior year, I ended up doing my senior project, my independent study on different directing styles of Stanislavski and Brecht. So that's kind of where my directing stuff also started showing up and where I decided I really wanted to keep doing this.
so you did. So right now, in terms of your career path, you're thinking production company and directing, artistic director kind of stuff,
Mhm.
rather than acting.
I still want to perform.
Uh-huh.
I'm not ready to fully give it up yet. It's still something
Because
that
you're
will
young.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still something that'll always probably be a part of me. It's something I've always loved to do. I love to choreograph. I
Oh, so
was
you do dance
teaching,
also? Okay.
yeah, because I've danced my whole life. I was actually teaching for a dance studio 2 years ago, last year, something like that.
Mm.
But just with the theater schedule and everything, I had to give it up, unfortunately, which I loved working with the kids and I loved
Right.
being able to kind of teach what I did, what I learned throughout the years. But but it just was getting too hectic with the
Yeah.
company and
Sure.
everything.
Sure. So, have you tried playwriting? Probably, and they forced you to do some, right? Or no?
Not playwriting actually.
Huh.
Everyone did have to direct, but playwriting was an elective. I'm pushed more towards like hair and makeup actually. That was
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
my side thing.
So, a further question on the production company. So, are you guys thinking of doing some? Because I think a lot of Shaw is in public domain.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. Because you could do Shaw.
I could, yeah.
There's a theater company north of the border who realize, hey, this is public domain stuff. We can. He's dead. Shakespeare. He's dead. We can do. Okay, so talking about the living now, the play that I missed, Getaway Eddie
That's right.
by Maddie Sedler.
That's right, Maddie. Oh my goodness.
I feel so bad now.
I know, me too.
But I need to say Maddie Sedler a few more times in Green Productions and Green Buffalo Production and plug that. Yeah, it's a heartwarming play. Last segment we were talking with Jay Snodgrass, John Snodgrass, and he was saying because his play Rust and Redemption, which is running 2 more weekends at Western New York ART, has not to blow it, but there's kind of a hopeful ending at the end of it, and a lot of plays, he was saying, a lot of plays they like to have depressing endings, something to make people think, I guess. But I also had to mention Jay Snodgrass wrote Pastoral Emergency, and the guy who wrote Long Ride Home, Tim Joyce, who's a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and Mike Finelli wrote Philosophers at War, and I think I covered everybody. Karen McDonald wrote, Jennifer Trumbull wrote, so we had a lot of good people writing, and that again is May 19th through the 21st is when that's happening. Did you want to say something more about the production company or what's happening or the play or well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we talk about this a little bit? It's an interesting process, right? Because you were asked, you were given these two plays, and there's not a lot of dramaturg that you had to do on the Grease piece, right? It's
Right,
just like
yeah.
it's Grease.
Yeah,
What
really.
did you decide about the car?
I'm getting I'm getting a lot of cardboard, either from like Home Depot. I put a Facebook blast to see if anyone had extra big cardboard that they could give me. I'm gonna make a cardboard car.
There
Let's
you
see what
go.
happens.
Grease lightning, cardboard
Hmm.
with shoulder
Yep.
straps.
Yep.
See, people have to come to get in the car just to see that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gonna be
Come
a
see
lot of
my
fun. There are 10 pieces, and as the characters in my play say, if you, and this is always the case, and for your production company, if you don't like this play, you just have to wait 10 minutes, and there will be a new play, and maybe you'll like that one, maybe you won't. Oh well, that's your problem. But we have to wrap up. We have 40 seconds, so. Anything else you want to plug?
Not really. I do want to say though, during that weekend on May 20th, come wish me a happy birthday.
It's your birthday.
May 20th is my birthday, yeah. So I'll have a show opening on my birthday.
Shh.
Well, the day before my
Don't-
birthday.
Don't tell Mariangela, but we're going to get her a cake.
No.
Don't tell her. It'll be a surprise. Well, I want to thank you for being on The Play's the Thing. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
okay, cool. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. And we have 4 seconds left. I think that's pretty close. Horseshoes and hand grenades. That's what it is. Say hi to Andrew for me,
I
and
will.
we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
You're
Have a
gonna
good
be
one.
at the rehearsal space on Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I